Have you ever wondered how to protect your name, image, and likeness in today's digital world? Whether you're an influencer, a creator, or an athlete, your NIL is more valuable than ever. And with that value comes risk, including unauthorized use and stolen identity. What if I were to tell you that there was a solution that combined cutting-edge technology and legal protection? Introducing Galaxy Cloaking and ion.me. So here's how it works. Galaxy Cloaking and ion.me provide you with the documentation, which is also known as the Declaration of Ownership of yourself. And this is the legal framework that you would have in order to enforce legal ownership over your NIL or your digital identity. So that's where Galaxy Cloaking and ion.me come into play. These platforms provide innovative tools for you to protect and monetize off of your NIL. Empowered by blockchain technology, there's a tamper-proof way for you to declare and optimize ownership of your NIL. Real world application behind this, I race off-road dirt bikes in the state of Texas. And there's multiple series, and I mainly run one of them, the Texas Off-Road Racing Championship Series. And I perform in the women's A class of that series. So with that being said, a lot of athletes will seek sponsorship opportunities. And there are a couple different tiers of sponsorship. So you get discounted product, you can get free product and or services, or you can just be monetized or like monetarily sponsored, which obviously is the most ideal, especially in racing. It is a very expensive hobby slash competition, whatever. But with those sponsorships, most people are seeking those monetary sponsorships. And we can get into sponsorships another time, but how owning my NIL has supported me in negotiating those sponsorships, especially the monetary sponsorships to support my racing. Because I own my NIL through Galaxy Cloaking and ion.me, I am able to have more leverage to get and negotiate those contracts and sponsorships. What's also really easy is that through Galaxy Cloaking and ion.me, I'm able to have like a QR code. I know that some people that are on my race team, they have the QR codes on their bikes or on their helmets. I just have mine on my phone. And if you wanted to negotiate contracts with me, right then and there, I'm able to pull a contract up on my phone, and it's called an end user licensing agreement. And we discuss payment upfront, how long you have rights to use my NIL and what for, and we can come up with something right then and there. So generally at a race, when there's photographers and or other companies and or brands that want to collab with me, then I pull up my end user licensing agreement and we negotiate then and there. And sometimes you can just put, hey, no compensation, or you owe me a cheeseburger, or something very easy. It doesn't always have to be, but because you have that control, if a photographer or another brand were to use your NIL, say a picture that they took from the race, they go and sell it to a magazine or something, and they use it for advertisement, you as an athlete and as a person own your NIL, and you have the right to enforce the use of that picture. And especially if it's making that company money, whoever's using it or whatever, you have that legal framework to enforce either compensation or just authorization of use. So I think that's a really good example of real world application and from like an athletic perspective. And a lot of people are pretty familiar kind of with the like NCAA and college sports becoming more like NIL affiliate and really negotiating these contracts with these athletes. I really recommend those athletes, or even if you have like a junior or senior in high school that's looking to be a prospective college athlete, to start looking into owning their digital identity. And there is an option for minors on there when you're signing up. So I would just say go ahead and get protected and have that as the legal framework and foundation moving forward, so you have the leverage to negotiate those contracts in the future. Another good real world application would be in a sense of if you're an influencer or creator online. There is, as you know, a lot of people taking videos, taking content and using them to monetize, especially themselves online if they're a creator. And like I said, if you owned your NIL, then you would just have that leverage legally to enforce the misuse and or the monetization off of your digital identity or your NIL. And of course, this is like a huge framework when it comes to digital identity, but even in publications such as magazines and advertisements, and there's nothing like walking by a freaking billboard and your picture is on there. And again, you didn't authorize that necessarily, but at one point in time, a photographer took a picture of you at an event and now you're on a billboard using for marketing material. So having the legal standing in that background where you can leverage like the usage of your NIL would be really important. Like I said, from an influencer, creator, or an athlete perspective, there's so many different ideas. And if you have like a good idea of how you personally would use like the legal framework to enforce the misuse of your digital identity, I would love to hear it. This is obviously growing and developing as we speak, just all these kinds of NIL contracts and lawyers and framework going up. So it's ever evolving. And I just think that Galaxy Cloaking and iOwn.me is one of those really good platforms that can help a lot of people really take control of themselves.